Hello, Grapperinos, and welcome to another exciting episode of Probably Next Week on Raw. I'm Bryon, and I'm once again joined by a man who is so excited for the return of Rey Mysterio last week, Mike. Say hi, Mike.
Yes, can we get Ray beating his son with a belt again? That was very entertaining the first time around, and I would love to see it a second time.
Out of all the things that you want to run back, that's the one you want to run back.
I enjoyed
so
it. It was
many-
funny.
Okay. There
That
are
was the
a
only thing I've
couple
seen between Ray and Dominic, though. I know they used to be a tag team previously.
They were, yeah. And Dominic was embroiled in some feud between Ray and Eddie Guerrero. Although
Yes.
some people would not want to talk about that, probably. I don't know. They might think that feud kind of sucks, but whatever. But yeah, he's back. And guess who's also back on this next episode? It's going to be John Cena. He is in his hometown of Boston, Massachusetts for this next episode of Monday Night Raw. And we are going to book that episode according to these rules that we have set in stone since day one. I think there are some minor edits, but whatever. We still have that first one crossed out because they don't follow that rule. So we're not going to follow it either. Otherwise, the rest of it stays the same. And after we tell you our bookings and predictions for our next, or for the next episode of Monday Night Raw, we are going to watch said actual episode of Monday Night Raw. And then we are going to basically score our predictions and bookings. Wow, based on this scoring system. And we are going to tell you our scores on the next episode of this show based on what we got. And with that, let's get to the scores from last week. I got a 10.5, mainly because of Division. Although I did not expect Logan Paul to be here, so I only had Division as well as Punk. So I got most of the Punk promo at the beginning of the show down. And then we got Dominic appearing for his promo, so I got that one. And then Nikki and Raquel, I think that's their appearances on a match, so that's a point, I guess. And then the main event ends in a countout, so I got the finish for that, right? I guess. But what about you, Mike? You also seem to have almost the same amount of points that I did, with a 9 there.
Yeah, I got most of my points from Sheamus showing up and interfering on the AJ Lee Judgment Day title fight. And also from the main event, where I did predict Bronson Reed would fight CM Punk, not Yeet Man, unfortunately. But I did get a interference by the Vision. So
All right. Well, that's cool. Let's see if we can get the same kind of energy as we head into Cena's return for the last time in Boston. And here's other things that were announced besides that. We got Rusev versus Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sheamus as the first round matches for the Last Time Is Now tournament to determine John Cena's final opponent at Saturday night's main event in December from Washington, D.C. And then we have Raquel Rodriguez versus Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's World Championship. And we also have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair as they take on the Kabuki Warriors for the Women's Tag Team Championships. And so, without further ado, let's book this thing and get to my version of the show as John Cena heads to the ring. John Cena talks about, being in Boston for the very last time. He says that, the city of Boston, the people that inhabit it mean a lot to him. Kind of a political, I guess, answer, I suppose. And then he talks about the tournament that's going to unfold. He is looking forward to his next opponent. And he says that whoever his next opponent is will come get some. And he is then interrupted, not by Division, but by Logan Paul. Remember, Logan Paul had some history with John Cena. They had a match at Clash in Paris. Logan Paul comes out. He says that the city of Boston sucks ass and that they should praise Logan Paul because of what he did in WWE so far. He is a much better wrestler than John Cena will ever be. And, you know, he should be praised for that. And he talks about what he did for Division last week, laying out CM Punk, and that he should have been in the tournament, but since Cena is there, he just kick his ass in his home city, or home state, I should say. And, you know, just leave the people there wondering if John Cena still got it, I guess. And then we have Cena, you know, running down Logan Paul. Basically, essentially the same kind of deal that they did when they had their match at Clash of Paris as build. And he tells him to get his ass to the ring. You know, if you want some, come get some. Logan Paul replies that he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to come get some because he got backup. And that backup comes in the form of the Vision. Cena is then ambushed by the Vision, and Logan runs to the ring to participate. And then we have Jey Uso come in for the save, and Braun is ambushed from the back by CM Punk, which sets up the main event. Cena and Jey as they take on Braun and Logan. I know it seems kind of random, but I feel like that's the direction that we're heading. And I think that the feud for Survivor Series for CM Punk will be against Braun Breaker. I am still sticking with that. And that's when Braun Breaker gets his title. And that's that. We head on from that to the first round match of the Last Time Is Now tournament, as Rusev takes on Damian Priest. I think Rusev is going to win this one by submission because, well, he has a lot of history with John Cena. So I think they're gonna try the strategy of pushing people that have history with John Cena, and that includes Rusev. And ultimately, I think the winner is going to be Gunther. I can see some surprises being stuff like Joe Hendry, Obafemi, Dolph Ziggler. Again, these are just names outside the company. And NXT. But I can definitely see them going there. In terms of, you know, people outside the company, they're probably going to pick people who have history with John Cena, or, you know, people like Joe Hendry who have a lot of popularity at this point. So I think that is the direction, but ultimately I'm going to have to give it to Gunther. I think Gunther is going to be the next sort of, as you said, Mike, legend killer. And what better way to kill a legend than killing John Cena? So, yeah, killing John Cena. That is that, I suppose. We'll move on to Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair as they take on the Kabuki Warriors for the Women's Tag Team Championship. It's kind of obvious because they set it up last week. After Bayley and Lyra got laid out by the Kabuki Warriors in their match, which leads to this. I'm going to have Alexa and Charlotte retain. After the match, Nia Jax and Lash Legend come out, and they're going to brawl with Charlotte and Alexa before they are saved by Lyra and Bayley. So we're going to have a match next week, I think. Or next week, I should say. Between Lyra and Bayley versus Nia Jax and Lash Legend. Or it could be on SmackDown. I think I'm leaning more towards SmackDown than next week, but... Or next week, but that is what I'm going to have there. We then move on to Rey Mysterio having a promo. I guess. Might as well load up the stars for this edition of Raw. John Cena's here. Might as well put Rey Mysterio in, I guess. Rey Mysterio comes out. He talks his return after a brief hiatus. He has seen what Dom has been doing these past couple of months, and he is not happy. He is no longer the son that he remembers, and that he wants to beat Dominic Mysterio to prove to him that he is still the one carrying the Mysterio legacy, and that he is the one that is the king of the luchadors, not Dominic Mysterio. He is then interrupted by Dominic with the rest of the Judgment Day, who says that he, Dominic, is the actual Mysterio carrying the legacy, not him, and that he is the best Mysterio because not only has he beaten Rey Mysterio many times, and he has been champion many more times than Rey has as well, but Dominic Mysterio is not a deadbeat dad, which Rey Mysterio clearly is, as he says. The Judgment Day then close in on the ring, except for the women, obviously, and they start ambushing Rey Mysterio. Dom joins in as well. He beats down Rey Mysterio. However, there is some kind of miscommunication because Dom tries to go for a move on Rey. However, he misses and hits Finn Balor instead, or JD, whichever one. Rey laughs at this and leaves the ring as Dom checks in on Finn or JD. And the other Judgment Day folk are shocked, which will lead probably to a backstage segment where they argue some more. Again, we're going to have this segment kind of be the sort of more seeds planted into the Judgment Day breakup, kind of the tensions between Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. And sometime it's going to head to a fault. And it could possibly go to two different ways. It could go for Rey versus Dom at Survivor Series for the Intercontinental Championship, or it could go to Finn Balor being added to the mix, and we're going to have it be a triple threat. But I think I'm leaning more towards Rey versus Dom, and then go for Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio, maybe at Saturday Night's Main Event in December. So that's what I think will happen there. Stephanie Vaquer then comes out, and we transition to the Women's World Championship match as Raquel Rodriguez takes on Stephanie Vaquer. I'm going to have Stephanie win here, despite the interference from Roxanne. After the match, Roxanne comes in to beat Stephanie up, but Stephanie is saved by Nikki Bella. And as both Raquel and Roxanne leave the ring, we're going to have... I think this is risky, but might as well do it. I'm going to have Nikki Bella turn heel and turn her back on Stephanie. It may be too early, but I think this is what it's leading to. And that's your feud for Survivor Series. I could also see it maybe heading into War Games as they involve more women, but I think that's more towards the women's tag team situation than this one. So I think it's going to be Stephanie Vaquer versus Nikki Bella at Survivor Series War Games in San Diego. And that's that. We head on to Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sheamus. It's part of the first round match for the Last Time Is Now tournament. And I'm going to have Sheamus win by pinfall because he has history with Cena. I don't think Shinsuke has history with Cena, except maybe like one match they did way back then, but I think I'm going to lean on Sheamus. He has more history with Cena, therefore he has more legitimacy to basically just, have a match with Cena for the final time. And finally, the tag team match for the main event as Logan Paul and Braun Breaker take on Jey Uso and John Cena. I'm going to have it end in a DQ as Bronson Reed joins in for the attack. Maybe he pushes Jey Uso and the referee sees it or something. Maybe he brings out a chair. Something like that. And then a brawl breaks out between the four men. The baby faces are then saved by CM Punk, who attacks both Logan Paul and Braun Breaker. And we're going to have it end with the baby faces on top as the show goes off the air because obviously we're celebrating John Cena in Boston for the final time. And yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll celebrate his final time with a bit of a victory. And yeah, that's about it. Any questions?
So I just want to clarify something for the audience. I dislike how WWE sort of paints Boston as John Cena's hometown. when West Newbury is closer to Lowell than it is to Boston. I don't know why they don't do this in Lowell. Lowell is much closer to West Newbury than it is to Boston. John Cena basically almost lives in New Hampshire. He's like right across the border from New Hampshire. So
Yeah.
he's not even that close. It's like saying, someone's from it's like someone's from New York when they live in like, Westchester, like somewhere that's like outside of Long Island on the mainland. It's like, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe, but whatever. I don't know. It's a little annoyance as a local, but whatever. I don't care.
Boston doesn't want to pay for what is it? Is there an auditorium in Lowell? I think there's like an auditorium in Lowell.
There is. I guess there's a couple of auditoriums in Lowell. Yes, yeah, there are a couple. Yeah, Boston didn't want to pay for the Saturday night's main event. We apparently want to have more jazz festivals and shit. So
yeah,
priorities.
Trombone.
Priorities, Brian.
Yeah, priorities indeed. Sorry. Guess you're gonna have to go to Washington D.C. to see his last match. Who knows? Maybe we'll see the president there. I don't know.
That'd be funny. That'd be hilarious.
But anyway, any questions for the card before we move on to your card?
So your booking of your prediction that Nikki Bella turns heel is very risky. I'm not sure they do that because she's a legend, and they don't typically do that to legends. Really, unless they're going to be like a full-timer, like Randy Orton, for example. I really don't think they turn her heel.
Okay. Well, I think as a face, she sucks. She's kind of like that. She's kind of like Jade Cargill, but more of a part-timer, in that she sucks as a face, and I'm pretty sure she is much better as a heel, number one. Number two, I don't really see the point of having Stephanie come up against Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez if there's like no other people up there to sort of challenge for Stephanie's title. You know what I mean? Like, who else would it be? And so I don't know if, like, I don't know what direction they're heading towards. If they're just going to put Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez on Raw to basically fight for Stephanie's title and not have it happen in the PLE instead. Like, are we heading towards a triple threat? Is that the play? I don't think so. I think it's more of San Diego is a big town. It's kind of like an entertainment sort of capital, I guess. It's Hollywood, I guess. And they want to pack it in with as many stars as possible. So why not just add another one? Nikki Bella is kind of a star. Make her a heel for a short-term feud. Why not, I guess? Like, I just don't know who else could challenge her for the title. So that's why I have Nikki Bella turn heel here. I also know it's risky. And I know that there may be long-term repercussions for that. But I think for the short term, that's what they're probably going to do. Otherwise, they're probably going to send someone up from NXT. Who knows who that might be? But I don't know. I just think they're heading towards Stephanie versus Nikki here. Any other questions?
No, I'm ready to get to my card.
All right. Let's go to your card, starting off with...
we have a John Cena promo. John Cena comes out. He puts over the tournament. Says something about Boston. I don't know. Tries to get the crowd into it, but knowing Boston fans, they can be kind of, at least modern day Boston fans, it can be kind of eh. Anyway, yeah, I'm not going to get into a rant. Not going to rant. I promise. I promise. I'm not going to do it.
I mean, you can do it if you want.
I don't know, man. I just think that like modern day, especially because they're in the Garden, modern day fans that go to these events. I don't know. Wrestling fans seem a little bit more involved. Like you can't just go there casually. You can't be like, hey, boy, you want to go to a Monday Night Raw? It's like, no, man, I don't want to watch that shit. But if you want to go to like a Celtics game, it's kind of more of a casual environment. Anyway, my complaint is everybody who goes to these events are just rich people who don't really care about the thing that's happening. They just go as like a status thing or as a very like, high ticket casual event to go with coworkers.
Pretty much, yeah. I
yeah,
agree.
like a very expensive bar, basically.
Yes.
Anyway, he puts over the tournament, and he is interrupted by CM Punk, who comes out. CM Punk name dropped him last week, so this is why I have him come out. Punk puts Cena over, and Punk says, we are in Boston. You're here. How about we do this tonight? And they book a world heavyweight title fight for the main event of Raw between John Cena and CM Punk. And already you know what's going to happen in this main event because there's no way either of these guys are losing. So it's telegraphed from the beginning, but yeah, you know where this is going to go. But that's what they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll once again reserve my questions for the main event, but it's kind of interesting to see you doing this World Heavyweight Championship match. It makes I guess it makes sense. John Cena and CM Punk, they're big names, so
he did he did say he wanted it to be like he wanted to be a fighting champion, so I think this is how they start it.
All right, cool. All right, we'll move on from that to
the first of the John Cena Memorial Tournament is between Nakamura and Sheamus. Yes, I think Sheamus wins this match thanks to interference from the MFT. Shinsuke has been mixed up in a feud with the MFTs, and I think they come out and interfere on Shinsuke. And then Sheamus takes advantage and manages to win the fight. So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they are going to weave in storylines from Raw and SmackDown into this tournament and kind of progress them a bit. I would be shocked to see if the MFTs are there, for sure. But yeah, who do you think wins this tournament ultimately? And what surprises?
I don't think it's an outside guy. Definitely.
Yeah.
If I have to pick someone, like $100 in the line, I have to pick someone to win this tournament. I am gonna say that it probably. I have to agree with what you said to me yesterday. It's probably Gunther. Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably Gunther. Yeah.
And any surprises, like anyone who would make you pop if they were. I know we talked about Chris Jericho and
I think Chris Jericho may come up. I definitely think Joe Hendry's going to show up. That's 100%. Joe Hendry definitely shows up. And I know people talked about Obafemi possibly showing up as well. I think you could even see what's his face? No one in AEW, but I think you could see fuck.
Who are you?
Who's the guy? Yeah. He's I think he's in TNA. I need to look at the roster. I don't know.
TNA.
I'm totally.
Lance Storm comes back to challenge John Cena.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Even though Lance Storm hates everyone now. TNA roster. I don't think it's Moose. Like the only person I know from TNA. Oh, you mean Jeff Hardy?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. It could be you could have Jeff Hardy come back too, possibly.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I also wouldn't be. Yeah, Jeff Hardy would also be a good pick. I did not think of that until now. But yeah, cool. Anyway, I guess we'll move on from this to
the second of these two matches, Rusev versus Damian. I think Damian wins this one via pinfall. I think they're going to push Damian a little bit. I could see Aleister Black interfering, but I mean, Aleister Black is, I guess, now in a feud with Cody for some reason.
This could have been Karrion Kross, but instead we gave it to Aleister Black.
Do you realize that they gave him Karrion Kross's gimmick, like with Scarlet and all?
Yeah. The level.
I just find that funny.
Yeah. No, I that has not gone past me one bit.
Triple H really said we have Karrion Kross at home.
We don't
and
need
proceeded to make
Karrion
Karrion Kross.
We don't need Karrion Kross. We could make our own. We'll put Zelina Vega in with friggin' Aleister Black because, you know, they're both married in real life. So why not? There you go. Yeah. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is, unfortunately. We'll move on from that to...
I have Becky Lynch versus Natalya, yes, for the second time. Becky is supposed to be on the show again, according to the website. But again, that website lies, because they've said Randy Orton was supposed to show up for the past month, and he hasn't showed up. So I think whoever runs the website is trying to run some, like, you know, misinformation campaign or something.
Yeah.
But I think this is a build. I think they're going to eventually build the Maxine Becky title fight for Survivor Series. So
absolutely,
I think this is the start here, where Natalya takes on Becky, and I think Becky wins. Then Natalya is saved by Maxine post match.
Have we talked about Maxine versus Becky and who would go over? I think
Maxine 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she has a lot of fan support, and she's running hot right now. Because she really showed that she improved a lot in her fight with Becky. So I think people are behind her. I think it makes sense to put it on her. Yeah.
She's not Nia Jax, that's for sure. I think
she's not Nia Jax. She is not Nia Jax, though. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on from that to
women's tag team titles. You didn't have this booked. Apparently, this was announced, at least according to the Netflix website again.
No, I haven't booked. No, I haven't.
But you do.
Yeah.
What do I have? Wait, can you go back to the booked one? I thought you missed one according to my notes here. I thought you missed one, but I could be wrong.
No. You want to go back to my booking?
What do you have? Okay, before you ruin the slideshow, what do you have? What do you have on the announced matches list?
Announced matches. Oh, I only have 3. I didn't include this one. Was this announced as well? This
was included. Yes, I'm pretty sure this was announced.
Okay, I didn't put it in the list. We'll edit that. Don't worry.
Okay, all right. You put it in post. Yes,
we'll put it in post. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Okay, so we have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus the Kabuki Warriors. This is for the Women's Tag Team Championship. I think Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair win here pretty easily. Again, it seems like, to me, I don't know why they're giving these women's tag team title shots on the shows, because now you're running out of credible women's tag teams to throw at these two. Because you can't do, they already didn't they beat Bayley and Lyra? They did, right?
Yeah.
Okay. They already beat the Judgment Day. Now they're going to beat the Kabuki Warriors. You don't really have anyone else left, by the way. So I don't know where they go from here.
Yeah,
there's Nia Jax and
Legend.
Lash Legend, yes.
A not so great wrestler teamed up with a not so great wrestler. This is bound to be a fantastic partnership. And this will surely improve her skills. And by her, of course, I mean Nia Jax.
Road Dogg really saw the Nia Jax arc with Candice LeRae and was like, yeah, let's do that again.
Run that back. Let's run it back. Yeah, I besides Naya and Lash, I don't really see any other teams. Again, they're running into the same situation as the Wyatt Six. Like, what? Where do the Wyatt Six go after eliminating every single team in the tag team division? What, the MFTs? You think the MFTs are going to be enough to stop the Wyatt Six? I don't think so. So it's just like, what is the
They haven't
reason
really
for
defended
having
their
this title
titles at
fight?
all, really, as well. They haven't really defended them recently. So, and
Yeah,
nor have they been on TV very, very recently either. I mean, they've just shown up in backstage segments, so I think they're also getting kind of stale because no one's seen them. They're on a milk carton right now, so it's weird. It's
yeah,
weird, but we'll see where they go with this, I guess.
yeah. You know who else is on a milk carton lately? Randy Orton. That's more. That's more for SmackDown though. Yeah, where the
That's where
hell
they're
is
putting
Randy
him
Orton?
that's where they're putting him in the featured superstars list. They're like, has anyone seen him? Can you please tell us? He's lost. We need you to find him. Here's what he looks like.
Yep. All right. We'll move on from that to
The women's world championship fight between Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez. I think Vaquer wins despite Judgment Day interference. And I think instead of Nikki Bella coming out to help out, I think Rhea comes out because Rhea is also featured for this show. I think Rhea comes out to help out Stephanie. She has some beef with Raquel, obviously. And I think this leads to Rhea versus Stephanie probably at Survivor Series because you have to have one main belt defended on that show. So I think it's going to be
well,
that. And yeah.
if Rhea were to come back, I think she said when she got injured on her nose that the Kabuki Warriors laid her out with that.
Oh, I
So
forgot that she was injured. Oh, I totally forgot that's why she wasn't on TV.
yeah.
I'll still stick with it anyway. But yeah. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have her come back, during the Kabuki Warriors fight because again, it's like, it's 2-on-2 already. Like the odds are already even, so there's no reason for her to come out with that.
Well, I just remembered Rhea was also in a tag team with Io, and Io has been missing.
That is true. That is true. Yes.
So
Yeah, it probably makes more sense that she comes out against Kabuki Warriors then. But
true.
heyo,
Whatever. Whatever.
whatever.
We're in Boston. Who cares?
I'm just thinking they want to insert her back into the main title picture, but whatever.
Yeah. No, that it makes sense. Like she is a big name, so why not put her in the title fight again? Yeah. But I feel like she'd be better suited at this time to, teaming up with Io, getting that women's tag team gold, and furthering that story. But who knows? Who knows with this company? But anyway, yeah, who knows with this company? They put Cody Rhodes versus freaking Aleister Black. So I mean, who knows with this company? We'll move on from that to the main event, which is
We have John Cena versus CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that this ends in a no contest after the Vision plus Logan Paul interfere on this match. I think that they, initially beat them down, but John Cena takes out Logan Paul, takes out Braun Breaker, and then both of them take out Bronson Reed over the rope, and they end up on top at the end. So I think
okay.
that's a good way to end the show. The crowd gets a little bit of CM Punk versus John Cena the last time. So
Yeah,
I think this is how it ends. I think it is. Yeah.
cool. Okay, so War Games is coming up. Obviously, you think this is heading towards division and all that shenanigans.
Yeah, there's also sets the stage for War Games as well. Yes.
So
Enters John Cena into that picture.
yeah, that's how John Cena enters the picture for sure. So on the babyface side, right? If John Cena were to be in this match, we have Cena, Jey. Punk is probably in another match with someone else. So we'll probably have Punk somewhere else, I guess. But who do you think? Who else would be in that babyface kind of side? And has that changed since the initial sort of War Games announcement? I suppose like a month ago or so, maybe. And obviously, we have Logan Paul in division.
Like probably Jey Uso. Yeah, Jey Uso probably. Maybe LA Knights, probably not because he's a jobber.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the babyface side, and I think for the heels, I mean, we have Logan Paul and we have divisions. That's three. Who else do you think might be in that?
You could add
maybe like
you could add. Yeah, they've been featuring Brock Lesnar in a couple of their vignettes and their ads, so I think that he probably shows up. You could do The Miz. You could do Austin Theory if he ever comes back. You could do like who else is a heel and a male on SmackDown or Raw? Sorry, I mean The Miz. Does The Miz make sense?
He's on SmackDown.
No, The Miz is on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Damn it! All right.
On Raw.
Time to look at the roster page.
Yeah, War Games is a 5-on-5. That's why.
Let's look.
Unless they go back to 4-on-4, in which case, whatever. Fine.
They might have to. Just because of how limited the roster is right now. You could have El Grande Americano, Brian. You could have El Grande Americano.
I don't think so. He doesn't have anything to do with anything. I don't think he's more concerned with the Judgment Day and AJ Styles in that situation more than division. I don't think it's
there's really no one else. There's really no one else available. By the way, just telling you that much.
Amazing.
Yeah, really no one else because you have two of your top heels, Gunther and Seth Rollins, are injured. The only guys you have left, you could bring Brock Lesnar back in. You have the Vision and Logan Paul.
Wow, what a team!
That's all you got.
And they take on.
That's all you got.
Yeah, they're taking on some big names too, so it's gonna be an uphill battle if they want to win. But
yep. I don't think this. I don't know exactly how they do this War Games match. I think they go back to 4v4, but it's gonna definitely be something. It's definitely gonna be a match, one of the matches of all time.
It's no War Games 2000, but you know what? It's a match. It's a War Games match after all. And that is it for our predictions and bookings for this episode of Raw. And as I said earlier, we're going to watch the actual episode when it comes out. And then we're going to score our predictions based on what happens on that show. And we'll come back on here and give you what we got in terms of points. And we'll do this whole thing over again. So until then, thank you so much for ordering a pepperoni pizza called Probably Next Week on Raw from Grapperinos. And remember, if you're down for some fresh, oven-baked, crispy wrestling content, stop on by Grapperinos and order yourself some content you can grapple with. See you next time, Grapperinos.